When do people develop a sense of trust while looking to build and preserve their wealth? When choosing Donald Bernard, financial advisor, business speaker, and writer with the Bernard Wealth Management Group. Backed by a family investment brand that began over 50 years ago, Donald combines a commitment to guarding his clients' interests with a passion for helping them build both financial independence and financial security the Bernard way. Over the years, various publications have labeled the Bernard Wealth Management Group as a brand you can believe in. And since the beginning, Donald has had a rule to continue to build his family investment brand on his reputation. A consistent, no-nonsense one, based on guarding his clients' interests. Now, please join in welcoming to the stage, Donald Bernard.
First off, I just want to say how much I appreciate each and every one of you coming here tonight, taking the time to listen to my talk. I know you guys being here is a major investment of your time. That's something that I don't take lightly, and I want you to know that I'm going to do everything in my power tonight to make this investment of your time worthwhile. I myself have been sitting in your guys' seats many times, nervous, about to listen to someone speak, wondering if they're going to be any good or not. In fact, I know some of you are sitting here right now already thinking about sneaking out or escaping on me. I see you up there, don't think about it, all right? Maybe you chose the seat closest to the aisle or the seat closest to the restroom, ready to sneak out and break away as soon as I turn my head on you. Well, I'm telling you today you are not going to want to escape. You're going to be glad that you're here, you're in the right place at the right time, and I believe that this is going to be a talk that you're going to remember forever. Now, I know that's a pretty big claim, but today we're all going to look in the mirror, we're going to stare at the man in the glass, and we're going to talk about why building financial independence and financial security for ourselves and for our family gives us the single biggest advantage possible in life. Let me tell you right now, no conversation going on anywhere outside of this amphitheater is more important than this one in regards to finding success within your life. And the beauty of this talk tonight is that you can begin literally the second you get up out of your seat. But before we jump in, I want to tell you all something really quick. Our DNA loves stories. We're wired for them. Stories are the most primary way of passing information on to one another. They're the most valuable thing there is. Our brains prefer to learn in story form. Over our lifetimes as human beings, our ways of telling and listening to stories have evolved tremendously. Right now, my generation, we tell and listen to stories every day through our iPhones, iPads, and computers. We do it through text, FaceTime, Skype, and Zoom. Our parents, they told and listened to stories through the television, as the TV for them helped bring the outside world into their home on a daily basis. Our grandparents and our great-grandparents, this one I find it hard to believe and I actually laugh at, but they sat around a radio. Well, going back hundreds of thousands of years ago, our ancient ancestors told and listened to stories by sitting around a campfire. They made use of their daytime hunting and gathering, and made use of their nighttime by sharing stories and personal experiences from a given day. Maybe like how to avoid danger or how to hunt more effectively. You see, for millions of years, our ability to survive and our ability to thrive as human beings was solely dependent upon the stories that were being told at our campfire. You started listening to them when you were maybe just 2 or 3 years old, sitting with those closest to you. If one of those stories that you heard happened to save your life, or if one of those stories you heard happened to impact your life for the better, you were inclined to go back to that same campfire again and again and again, right? Well, guys, I appreciate you all being willing to come here and to sit around my campfire and to listen to some of my stories. These are ones that have changed my life for the better and ones that I know can help spark an extraordinary change in your lives as well. You see, whatever your dream might be in life is, whatever your mission in life is, whatever impact you want to have, or whatever mark you want to leave on the world, there always comes a time when some change is required, right? Well, the change that we're going to talk about today doesn't involve some magic you think you need to have or some secret you think you need to know over the person next to you. It doesn't involve any of that. The only thing that it requires for this change is a price that you have to be willing to pay. And if you choose to pay it, the reward is so much greater than the sacrifice. I promise you that. Guys, this is going to be an unbelievably powerful talk, and I just hope you allow some of these stories to sink in as the night goes on. Now, before we talk about what that price might be, I want to take a step back and ask everybody here a question. Raise your hand up high if you know who the Joneses are. Okay, decent amount of you guys. Well, for those of you that didn't raise your hand, the Joneses are the family we all wish we could live like, right? Typically, they live about 3 houses down from yours. Mr. Jones drives the brand new Bentley. Mrs. Jones drives by in the brand new Mercedes. They live in that picture-perfect house. They've got the best kept yard in all the neighborhood. And let's face it, their kids are just flat out better than yours no matter what. The Joneses. Well, for those of you here that didn't raise your hand, there's one thing that I guarantee, and that's the fact that every single time you log on to your social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or anything, you see the Joneses on there. And the pictures and the videos they post of the expensive vacations, the exclusive parties, the fancy cars, the flat screen TVs in every bedroom. And it's always filmed on the most up-to-date smartphone, right? Well, whether you meet them in person or whether you see them on social media, there's always 2 questions you're left asking yourselves at the end of the day. First one is, how in the hell do they afford it? And the second one is my life just about keeping up with the Joneses? Would you guys want to know the truth about the Joneses? They're broke. That's B-R-O-K-E with a capital B. And I'm not saying this to you guys so you can feel any better about that old beat-up car you've been driving around since 2003, or the hand-me-down furniture set that your guests sit on and probably have been sitting on for the past 15 or 20 years every time they come over to your house. No. I'm saying this to you guys because I want you to know that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Here's the thing. About 80% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So that's roughly 8 out of every 10 people you come across in your life probably can't afford the house they live in, probably can't afford the car they drive, and probably don't have any emergency cash available on hand if something out of the ordinary or something unexpected happens to them. It's pretty crazy, right? Well, is that the way you want to live, unable to take care of yourself or your family when the world is calling on you to be at your best? It's time to start living like no one else. Today's standards of success seem to be just based on who drives the fancy car and who lives in the nice house, but is that what it's really all about at the end of the day? You need to choose to live like no one else today so you can live and give like no one else later on in life. But in order to accomplish that, you have to be willing to accept the fact that your lifestyle is going to look and feel a whole lot different from the Joneses. So I say, whether you're happy for the Joneses or whether you feel sorry for them, stop trying to keep up with them. So by now, you guys are probably sitting here asking, Donald, how do I choose to live like no one else? Or Donald, how do I build financial independence and financial security? Or Donald, where in the hell do I even begin any of this? Well, if there's one part in my talk tonight that I need all of you guys locked in and focused and listening the most, it's right now. Because right now, I'm going to share with you all my signature process on how to answer those questions. I call this process the Bernard way. And it involves 2 challenges to each and every one of you, one at the beginning of the year, one at the end of the year, and 4 steps in the process, which are why, what, how, and what if. What if I choose to buy into this process? And if there's one thing that I can guarantee for each and every one of you tonight is that if you can buy into this process, if you can buy into the Bernard way every single year for the rest of your life, I guarantee you will get every result you could ever want out of your life. So to start out, why? Why should I do this? Well, if there's one thing that separates those with tremendous financial independence and financial security from those people who have been broken in debt for decades, it's that person's intense focus, drive, energy, and discipline they put towards tracking their financial matters. When you track your financial matters and you calculate your net worth year after year, you always know where you stand and if you're moving in the right direction or not. This piece of paper with your net worth written on it will always give you either a job well done confirmation or a complete wake-up call. And the thing is that you can't hide from that piece of paper no matter how hard you try. At the end of every single year, if you can look at yourself in the mirror, stare at the man in the glass, and say that your net worth increased from the year prior, then you had an extremely successful year. But if you grab that piece of paper and you look in the mirror at the end of the year and you can't say your net worth increased, then you had an extremely unsuccessful year. It's harsh, it's tough, it's totally black and white, but this is what it takes to get the job done and to build financial independence and financial security. So we've talked about why. Well, the next step is what? What do I have to do? Well, first off, you need to always pay yourself first. That sounds easy, but the majority of people treat savings as a whatever's left at the end of the month strategy, right? So after they pay their fixed bills in order to survive in life, after they treat themselves to a couple things here and there, and they take whatever pocket change is left over and try to save it. But I'm telling you right now, if that's the way you go about doing this, you're never going to get it done. And believe me, I'll be picking that up and saving it later. We've talked about why. We've talked about what. Well, Donald, how do I do this? How do I calculate my net worth? I know some of you guys are sitting here right now thinking, Jesus, I never even passed my high school math class. How do you expect me to calculate my net worth? Well, I'm going to keep it so simple for everybody. You're going to add up everything you own in your life. You're going to subtract everything you owe in your life. And the number at the end of that equation equals your personal net worth. So first, you need to determine what you own in life. So what you own are your assets, and your assets are your possessions that have value. For example, money in bank accounts, money in your investment accounts, like your stocks, bonds, or mutual funds, your home, or any other outside real estate. You're going to add all those up, and you're going to label them as your assets. And again, your assets are what you own. Second, you need to determine what you owe in life. What you owe are your liabilities, and your liabilities are any financial obligations or financial debts you may have. For example, credit card balances, personal loans, car loans, or a mortgage. You're going to add all those up, you're going to label them as your liabilities, and again, your liabilities are what you owe. So to get back to this original equation on how do I calculate my net worth? Well, again, you're going to take what you own in life, you're going to subtract what you owe. Or in other words, you're going to take your assets, and you're going to subtract your liabilities, and the number at the end of that equation equals your personal net worth. And ideally, you want your assets to be greater than your liabilities. So we've talked about why, we've talked about what, we've talked about how. Well, the last part is what if? What if I choose to do this process for the rest of my life? Well, if you choose to do this and you save enough money and accumulate enough assets in your life, maybe one day you can be able to live off of the income from your investments alone. Sounds pretty nice, right? Well, if you can live off of the income from your investments, maybe then you don't have to rely on an employer or someone else in your life to cut you a paycheck every month to get by in life. Well, if you don't have to rely on someone to cut you a paycheck to get by in life, maybe then you can begin to take more risks in your life without losing the quality of your life. Like quitting your job or getting up and moving to a new city or launching a business that you've always dreamed of. Well, if you can launch that business, or maybe if you already own your own business, maybe then you don't have to panic as much about a slow month, quarter, or year revenue-wise within your business if you have other streams of income working for you. My point is that if you can buy into this process and do these things that I'm talking about, more choices and more options will become available to you in your life. And believe me, this list just goes on and on and on. So as I come towards the end of my talk, I just want to emphasize the fact that there are no get-rich-quick schemes in life. And if you think you've come across one, I can almost guarantee you that it's just someone else getting rich off of you. Over and above that, you can't get rich off of just your wages alone or off of the money that you earn every day at work alone. The only way you can truly get rich and get wealthy and build financial independence and financial security in your life is to save the money you earn every day at work and to then invest it into assets that have the ability to grow while you sleep. And the thing is it's so doable, whether you have a high income or a low income, whether you make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year or not. It's doable if you just make saving a priority in your life, and you do it every year as life goes on. I want to share a quote with you all, and this is one that's been told at my campfire my entire life. And it's actually one that I chose to build my entire talk around tonight. It's from the poem called "The Man in the Glass." The poem goes, "You may fool the whole world down the pathway of years and get pats on the back as you pass, but your final reward will be heartaches and tears if you cheated the man in the glass." What I mean by that, guys, is don't cheat the man in the glass. Don't cheat yourself. Don't cheat your family. At the end of every single year, be able to look at yourself in the mirror and be able to say that you did everything that you could in your power to take care of yourself and your family financially. Do this because it's a moral necessity, and until you tend to your needs or your family's needs, no matter what they may be, your job is never done. I want everybody here to hear me on this right now, and that is that you may not like where you stand financially. You may be lagging way behind. Hell, you may have never started any of what I'm talking about tonight. That's okay, and you still have time to turn things around. And to those of you that are here tonight or listening to me anywhere around the world, that have built financial independence and financial security for yourselves, I want you to take this moment to literally pat yourself on the back. You should be damn proud of your accomplishments, but I just say, keep running scared, keep doing the things that got you to where you are, keep being an example for the rest of the world. Because if it regards what we're talking about tonight or anything else going on in your personal lives outside of this amphitheater, I just want to say that you're never out of the race unless you quit. So don't quit, keep pushing, keep moving forward, keep finding ways to make progress, keep your eyes up to the skies, even if you feel like the deck of cards are totally stacked against you. And remember that no one accidentally wins in life. There's always a price you have to pay in order to win, and you'll never win if you don't pay the price. But if you choose to pay the price, it's always worth it in the end. Thank you.